Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Elizabeth, the maker behind Angel's Cottage, and I'm going to tell you a few places where you can find me before we get started. You can find me on Instagram at Angel's Cottage. You can find me on Ravelry as Arcania, and you can find me on Etsy as Angel's Cottage Shop. It has been a minute since I've recorded a podcast. The last one I recorded, I think, was Pi Day, so March 14th. It is May, I believe, 17th today. And we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot going on. Although, for it being 2 months, the incoming hasn't been that much. So, yay! Yay! Um, but we're going to start off with finished objects this time instead of whips. Thought we would shake it up and just kind of see where it went. So, first things first, I want to talk about Operation Daddy Got Sock, which is what I'm now calling the sock advent for my husband. So last time, these were a whip, and all of these are pairs, by the way. I just don't have enough blockers for that. But here's the Paisley Knits Co. sock in Daybreak, the collaboration she did with Shop of Mercery last year. So this is a pair. The other one's over there. Um, and then you might remember this one as well from the last pod. And this is um, Sorella, I Believe in People, and then Tom, I believe. And this was the Hearth sock. That's why there's the little pattern. That's by Dana Ray Makes. This one is just a vanilla sock. Size large, so 72 stitches. And then afterthought heel, because I find I can make them faster when I'm not doing heel flapping gussets. And then this one is the slack tied socks. You can't really see it up here because it's so small, but there is actually like patterning right there. This is not going to show. That's a fail. I'm sorry. There's patterning back there because the slack ties are normally much taller. I think maybe I showed mine or I showed my son's on here, but same pattern. I made a little boo-boo on the top, so I had to make a match, and it's fine. But this is, both of these are barnyard knits, and this is sea and sand and shallow waters, and it's really, really pretty. Excuse me. It's really, really pretty, and I have enough left over to make myself a pair, so I'm probably going to do that eventually. Then I have, this is the Sorella, ooh, it's like Fresh Garland sock set. That's what it was, from like way back when. So this is just a vanilla sock with that. And yeah, I thought this came out really pretty. Just the way that the different colors work up. It's subtle, but it's pretty. And then this is a vanilla sock, another one. And this is by Pacific Northwest Pearls, and it's Wizard House Badger. If you know, you know. But this is his house, so I self-striping yarn made him some self-striping socks. I think I'm up to 9 pairs so far out of the 25. I have a few in the whips that are like almost there, but we'll get to that. I'm doing pretty good on the goal. I need to kind of hunker down, which I did do last month. I made roughly 4 pairs last month, but not all of them got heels. That's why they're not all done. So like this one got made in April, this one got made in April, and then this one got made in April. And then there's the one that doesn't have heels down here. So I did pretty good. It's about a pair a week, I guess, but I was also working on other stuff, such as my Sophie scarf. This is the one from the last pod, and I'm not going to unroll it because, like, yarn croissant. Who doesn't love that? But it's a little scarf that goes around your neck. But this is the Marilla's brooch in Woolberry, and I think it turned out really nice. And then I had talked in the last pod about a fingering weight with Selena possibly becoming a Sophie scarf, and it did. I think it looks really pretty. It's a little bit deeper. I don't think I had really talked about my plans for this. So eventually, I'm gonna make a shirt, one of those stripy sailor shirts, French shirts. And this is supposed to go with that to complete the French girl ensemble. It's a little bit deeper than I had envisioned, but I still love it. I think the sparkle is a really nice touch. And then in the last pod also, I had talked about this colorway becoming, oh, hold on, I need to read croissant. If you're wondering what it looks like unrolled, like this is it. Um, but let me just re-roll that real quick. I had talked about in the last pod, I bought a DK skein of, I believe this one was Drizzle, if I remember right. And it might become a Sophie scarf. Well, it did. This is it. And it's so soft. It's just like, ooh, oh my goodness. You can tell I'm rusty. I completely forgot. This is 85.15 DK weight, superwash merino, 15% nylon, super soft. This is, I believe it's 75, 15.5. So 75% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 5% gold stellina for this one. Then this was 100% superwash. This is 85.20 superwash merino nylon. This is 85.15 superwash merino nylon. This is 75.25 superwash merino nylon. This is 100% superwash merino. I think this is 80% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 5% stellina, but I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll put it up here. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot the bases. I'm so sorry. I think that's it for finished objects. As far as like knitted or crocheted, I have a few things for the shop that I'll talk about a little bit later. Then those are kind of exciting, but yeah, we'll get to that. So, whips. As of May 1st, we started our Stitches and Stories make along with Fantasy Fibers Yarn Co. Emma Hamm is the author of the book Whispers of the Deep, and then we're doing Patterns by Alicia Plummer. I'm not very far at all, literally at all. I think I've only managed to do one pattern repeat on these, and it's might not show because it's not very long. But this is Rough Winds Socks. Yeah, it's totally not going to show. I'm sorry. Maybe it'll be more exciting next podcast. But I will show you the cake of the colorway because that's stunning. And this is People of the Deep by Fantasy Fiber Yarn Co. I think this came in between pods, and I don't remember if I showed it. I don't think I did, but it's caked now. And it came with 2 minis, and this is, hold on, we got a little issue here. Make you nice and presentable-ish for the pod. This is Kelp Frowns as a mini, and then this is Deep Waters, I think, as a mini. And so my plan, I don't know if it's going to work, but my plan is to make my husband a pair of shorties, which is why this is so small, and use this colorway for his I think I'm going to do a German short row for the first time. I don't know if I'll do afterthought. I'm really kind of leaning towards German short row because I want to learn a new um, heel type. But I'm going to attempt that, and then if I have enough of the main skein left over, um, then what I would like to do is make myself a pair of the same socks using this as my contrast. So it'll be kind of low contrast because they go together as opposed to like this one. But I don't mind that. And then we'll just kind of see how that goes. But obviously I'm not there yet, so that's with number one. I don't know how many whips are in here. Oops. This is in a bag by Mountain State Stitches, and I actually really like this kind of little bag for smaller projects like socks. Um, this is in a bag by Knitted Soiree, and I love this style bag. I've positively loaded it. I'm sure I'm not supposed to do that, but I'm just testing the structural integrity of it. Okay, so the first one, these are the ones that I mentioned previously that just need heels. But this is Fantasy Fiber Yarn Co. in Finding Your Familiar and hang on. What's the little mini? Meadow grass. See if I can't shove that back in there. So Finding Your Familiar and then meadow grass. So those are almost done. Just need to pop some heels in. And then I started another one in here with her yarn, and this is I think it's birch bristles and bee balsam if I remember right. And this just needs a toe. It's the first of, but birch bristles and then bee balsam is down here. Both of these are vanilla socks, size large. These were some of her Coven Club colorways from last year. Yeah. So got a couple socks I need to hammer out, but yeah, those are in there. And then I have the next one caked up, but I haven't started it yet. And this is Altar and Candlelight Glow. So those will probably be in the next pod. Whoa, hold on. Okay, those will probably be in the next pod. Because I'm chipping away at the Coven Club colorway she did last year. I have sock sets for the club she's doing this year, but I don't know what I'm going to do with them just yet. Which sounds silly, I know, but you can do more with a sock set than just socks. PSA. I'll show you this one. I had mentioned this in the last pod, and it's grown exponentially since then. Let me see if I can find the marker I put in here last time. There it is. Holy cow. Okay. Last time, I believe I was here. And since then, I don't think I'll get the whole thing in the shot, but since then, this is how big she's getting. So we'll kind of go around. I think I was on the, oh, actually, this is the 5th ring. I was on the 4th ring last time, so I don't know that I marked where I was. But we're on the 6th ring, getting ready to close it here. We're on this side, so probably like maybe 10 hexies to go before I close up this side. But let me put these needles away and take a sip of water. So yeah, it's grown a lot. Here I closed up the ring and I thought I had marked this because this is where I was last time, but now I'm thinking about it. I think I was only on the fourth ring last time. I'm not sure. So then we started out the fifth ring. I can't remember which way. I know it goes this way, but I can't remember which color actually started it. I think it was this blue one, actually. These blue one. And then just kind of go around. And I started pulling like this. I did a part of my muscle burrow in. And then once we get around, am I showing you the back? No, I'm not. Thought I was showing the backside. Um, Once we get to a certain point, I started adding, you could see some of these bright pops. Um, I realized there's a lot of repeat colors, which is fine. But I also started running out, like this one's out, basically. And I think this one's out. And then like this one, I might have a smidge left, but a lot of these are out. So I kind of want to show you the pops of new color. Like this is the one I made the Sophie scarf with, the drizzle. And then this is from Fangirl Fibers Toy Story Advent. I decided I didn't really have a plan for that. In my mind, I was like, oh, I'll make a northeasterly crochet. But I was like, man, that's like so many blankets. And I was like, I'd rather just take it and put it into his because I want to finish his blanket. And then if there's anything left over, then I can put it in a northeasterly for myself. And I caked up, that took me so long. I caked up 55 mini skeins because I took the Toy Story Advent and I had also gotten a Pokemon Advent from Fangirl Fibers in the summer last year. So I took those and I also caked those up and they're also in here. I can point out which ones, but I don't remember all the colorway names. So like this was from Toy Story, this was from Pokemon, Pokemon, Toy Story, Toy Story, Pokemon, Pokemon, Toy Story, Toy Story, and that's it for right now. The rest of these are colors that I think had already been in here, and I still have quite a bit to go. So I'm going to take this marker out real quick so we'll actually be marked accurate this time. And where are we? I think we're here. I think we're here. So I'll go ahead and mark this one. Ta-da! And so now if I work on this, because I've been picking it up and putting it down, then I'll be able to show that. The next whip is a garment. If you've been following my making journey for a little bit, you'll know. This is the farthest I've gotten on a sweater-like object. But look! It's got the collar, all the increases, the sleeves have been split, and now I'm just working on the body, the very long process of the body, because it's fingering weight. But that's okay because I actually like stockinette, just mindless going, going, going. Um, I really want to pick up stitches for the sleeves and get the sleeves done, so that way I just need to finish the body and do the ribbing. I might do that, I don't know yet. But yeah, this is the Tulsa tee. Tulsa tee, size 5, and then it's in Sorella Yarns Scuttle colorway, which is 100% superwash merino. This is their old classic sock that was thinner and I think had more yardage, but I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, I had some in stash, um, and I wanted to use it up, and this was a pretty good project for it. I'm, you know, working on it, making my way. That was one thing I've done a lot since I recorded a podcast last. There's a cubby over here that looks a little bit like a disaster right now because there's yarn everywhere, but I took yarn from my stash and I put it in there because they're assigned to projects. And then I have like notes on my phone that say what project I'm doing, what colorway I'm doing it in, how many skeins I have or need, what size I'm doing it in, and like almost all the info that you could need. And so that has really helped my brain space, like what I want to work on next. And that's kind of how the Tulsa Tea came about, was because I was pulling like sweater quantities, or I found out depending on the t-shirt, I only need so many skeins. So I started pulling all those out and trying to figure out what I could make with these instead of just having one skein here, 4 skeins there, whatever, of the same colorway and just not knowing. And I feel a lot better for it. Because now I kind of have like a project queue that I'm working through, and yeah, feels pretty good. Highly recommend yarn organization in a better way than I had it before. Um, yeah. And then my last whip, I believe this is the last one I'm working on right now. This is just a little guy, but this is my Carlisle DK that is open for test knitting right now. And this is by, I'm sorry. The Tulsa Tea is by Rebecca. I'll just put it over. Bay. That's what I know her as on Instagram. Um, but this is by Maddie Mo. I'll put all the names up here. I'm sorry if I'm butchering. But this is Treehouse Knits Tweed DK and Smoke Show, and all I've really done is the folded collar. I have markers on here because I've done the setup rows to get ready to start doing the increases as of last night. Did I say that this colorway was Smoke Show? I'm sorry if that's repeat information. I actually bought a bunch of skeins of this for a different project that I attempted to do, but at the time didn't make sense to me. Um, and so I frogged it because I just had it sitting there and I was confused because I worked on it, put it down, worked on it, put it down. And then, like, when I put it down the last time, it was quite a stretch of time. And so when I came back to it, I was like, I don't even know what size I'm doing this in. I had like no notes on it whatsoever. And so I was trying to go off of my stitch count, which is a terrible idea. Because obviously, like, you're still increasing. So, yeah, I ended up frogging it, and thankfully, I should have enough to do this test knit, and it's such a beautiful dark purple. So there's that. And then I haven't swatched yet, so it's not technically a whip, but I have these 2 colorways pulled out. Hold on, gotta do some surgery here. I have these 2 colorways for another test knit, DK weight. It's called the Sprinkle Sweater. I think she's still looking for um, testers because she still has a couple slots open for different sizes. Maddie might still be looking for testers. I'll put all that information below, um, and whatnot, so you can kind of find it and see maybe you want to test it as well. But this is for the sprinkle sweater test knit, and this is going to be the main color. It's Sorella Dusk, and it's actually like kind of a deepish navy blue. And then this is Three Little Words by Woolberry, and it's their reformulated version. I originally got this hoping it wasn't reformulated too much so that I could put it with another. I had another sweater quantity, but I needed a little bit more for something that I wanted to do. And then this came and it wasn't right. I can't remember if it came in the last podcast or the podcast before that, but they weren't right and I didn't know what to do with it. And I was thinking about destashing it, but then I just never got around to it. So then I had enough for this, and I think that they will go nicely together. So that will likely be a whip in the next one. Drink water. Okay. Now we can move on to acquisitions. Um, we'll start with Fan Girl Fibers Disney Attraction, and this is from March. I think this came in after I recorded last time, and I have April downstairs. I forgot to bring it up here again. I'm so sorry. Um, but this is Star Tours, and it's based off of the Star Tours attraction that I think they have it in Disneyland and Walt Disney World and some of the other parks, but I think it looks kind of nice. Down here you can see some beautiful specules. And this is fingering weight, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards. Um, then I ordered this in January and it came, I think it was January. It came, and it's just been sitting here waiting for me to show you. But this is Paisley Knit. She did a favorites collection, I think it was, at the beginning of the year. And this is Zeus and Shibuya. Zeus Shibuya. On her coastal sock, which is 85% uh, superwash merino and then 15% nylon. And I think that is gorgeous. Then I ordered from Mesomakes Fiber. She brought back her Having a Blast 90s throwback taco. And I've been in love with this color for a while and I've just been waiting for her to bring it back, and she did. But I wasn't sure what to make, so I just got a sock set. And actually, is it S Knits? Made a pattern for a bag, and I think that's what this is going to become, which is hopefully going to be really cute. But this is on her, I think it's 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. Not so fun, it's just so bright. And then I got these EKF Ireland Collection Giants Causeway. These are cashmere on their cashmere caverns base, so it's 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, 435 yards. And these are going to become the Skyline tee. I had bought these with that intention off the D stash, so that is what they will become. I just need to probably finish my Tolsta and my test knits before I really get into that. And then we're kind of bouncing around here, and I'm sorry. I'm trying to do this of order when they came in. This is Fantasy Fiber Yarn Co. and this is Daddy Winchester and the Colt. And it has, I don't know if it'll show up. Let me just take this off and I'll show you. It has a tiny little Colt stitch marker. If you're a fan of the show, then you know. But this is the close-up of the colorway. It's this nice, like, dark army green kind of with black speckles, and it has kind of like the gray of the Colt color on the side there, like this one, mixed in. It's really nice. Um, then I think these ones came in next. So Area 51 Fibers did an update for Star Wars-y colorways and other spacey colorways, and I got a New Hope. These are self-striping, and they're 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and they're about 213 yards because this is half a skein. So I got that one, and then I got Chewbacca, the same base, and then I got Hitchhike Through the Galaxy, and then I got Han Solo. So these two are for me, and then these two are for my husband, and that's gonna be fun. And then, we'll do this one. Mama Just Knits had a pre-order for this, and it's called Frankly Lisa, and it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's like 473 yards, but they're just really bright. They're speckles, but they're like, I don't know how to explain it. They're not like just a speck. But I saw this in her shop a while ago, and then I saw her, Mama Just Knits, knitting them up, and Crazy Sock Lady knitting them up at the same time, and I was like, okay, that seems like fun. It's a little bright for me, um, but I think that's going to be the fun of it. And summer sock camp, oh my gosh, summer sock camp is coming up soon, and the theme is 80s, 90s, and I think that'll be fun to be on theme with this one. And then I ordered 2 skeins from Cozy Cauldron Fiber Co., and these are Disability is Not a Dirty Word. This one is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and this one is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. The bases are different, and I did that on purpose, but I think that they're pretty. And she has these, like, these are new labels. They're like matte and velvety. So nice. So that's that. Again, I see, I really wouldn't say this is that bright. I think the brightest thing I ever made so far still is that Starlight by Fangirl Fibers Muscle Bro hat. But this is going to probably give it a run for its money. And then I got This Is the Way by Fantasy Fiber Yarn Company in her yak base. So these are 65% superwash merino, 20% silk, 15% yak. And I got these to make a springline tee, which when I saw Marissa, who's the owner of Fantasy Fiber Yarn Co., making hers in an altar, which is this colorway here, I was like, I really want to make a springline tee when it comes out. So then it came out, gosh, a couple weeks ago? I can't remember. And then around the same time, like I think the same week, she was having a sale to clear out her shelves, and she had enough of these for me to make a springline tee, so I went for it. Next up is Pie Day from Fantasy Fiber Yarn Co. And this is Poison Apple Pie, Sleeping Death, and Evil Queen. This is her 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. dark plummy purple with little splashes of bright green. So nice. And then last but not least is God of Thunder and Aether with the little, I don't know if you guys saw the, hold on, let me give this its moment. The stitch marker, it's like the poison apple on this one. This one has the little Thor's hammer, so I'll give you a, and then we'll do, this is one of those colorways that I'm like, wish I'd gotten more. But anyway, lastly, let's talk about this. These are the ChiaoGoo Forte 2.0s, and I'm sure if you're in the knitting world, you are probably sick of hearing about these or what have you. But this was my Mother's Day gift from my husband and my children, and I love it. I currently only have one project, right? I think it's one project using these needles, but that's because the other projects are already on other needles and it seems kind of silly to switch. But it came in this case with a gauge ruler, which I didn't have one of these before. Scissors. This has like stitch markers and little T-pins and safety pins, and ChiaoGoo has like a heart rubber thing that helps you like put your helps you twist your needles onto the cords. And then this is a tape measure. And then it comes with a pen. There's a place to attach your stitch markers or anything here. And then this is magnetic. But this has all the different needles and it goes from 2.75 up to 10 millimeter. And as I worked with these, it has the tip, on the tip here, it has the millimeter size, and then on this part right here, which I thought this was really interesting, it has the like US sizes for it, but it also has like in parentheses what size cable it'll fit. So all the way up to an 8 US, which is 5 millimeter, can fit in their small cords, right? And then when you flip it over, the 5.5, which is a 9, need their large cords, and then that's how the rest of them are. And I thought that was so interesting because I always kind of wonder when I was ordering like ChiaoGoo needle tips before and then getting the cords, um, I kind of just had to guess because I was ordering them online and I'm not by any means a knitting expert, but I just kind of guessed and got lucky. Like, I ordered 2.75 millimeter and 3.25 millimeter for a test knit a while back, and I ordered a 14-inch cord and then I think like a 32-inch cord. I can't remember exactly, but they have like mini, small, and then like large, I think. And I took a chance and got mini because I was like, well, these are small tips, so I have to imagine they need a smaller connector. But anyway, so nice. My only gripe with that, well, I should say, I have two gripes with this set. And it's not even about the set, it's just the design here. I don't like this zipper. I don't know, I just don't like it. It's a little floppy. And if you don't set this just right, when you go to zip, these get caught. Sorry. If you don't set these just right, when you go to zip, you can see it here, it hangs down. No matter how like high up they're perfectly in there. They get caught up in the zipper mechanism. and then I have to come in and shuffle it around. Not a fan. Not a fan. For how expensive these were, and I know because I looked around, I'm thinking they probably should have put them up just a little bit higher. Like that. What's that? Like a freaking inch from where they are now? Just my thoughts. The magnetic part, really nice though, because I can just pop those babies out. And then back here, they gave you a bunch of cords, which is really nice. And I don't know if I should say I didn't notice this. Showing my noob knitting here, but on the cords, on the little tips right there. I didn't know this till I got this set. They have inches. Ooh, I'm sorry. I think you're gonna hear my dryer. I'm doing laundry. They have like what size the cord is. So me not knowing that, anytime I've needed a cord, I've just pulled it out and then pulled out my tape measure and measured it. And like, yeah, that's the size. There's also a pocket back here for like holding your patterns, and then there's a zipper right here for holding extra notions and what have you. I love it. It's just my two gripes are the buttons should have been up higher to hold these up out of the way, and maybe the zipper could have been a little different. They came in this cloth like wrapping, and then it had a box, and then it had bubbles. I will say the rest of the packaging, top notch. And I haven't worked with all of the needle tips yet. I've only worked with the smaller sizes, so like I think right now I'm working with 3.75. Yeah, 3.75. I've worked with the 3.5 and the 3.25. I will be, once I swatch for this, ooh, almost hit myself. Once I swatch for the sprinkle test knit, I'll be working with the 4. I think the collar is done in either 3.5 or 3.75, but then the actual body is a 4. So we'll see. There's also an extra spot right here if you want to put like your own pen, so that's kind of nice. Yeah, really happy with that. It was so special. My oldest son was so excited. It was so hard to keep the secret that this is what they were getting me for Mother's Day. But that is acquisition. So one more thing before we get into reading, and that is sort of like shop news. So I'm a Star Wars fan, and on May the 4th, I had a Star Wars update that I had been working on for a while. I love it. I'll kind of just give you a look there, but I will put pictures in here of the different colorways and possibly their names, and then there's stitch markers in here also. I don't know if you could see. I'll put pictures of that as well. And then this is a Death Star yarn bowl. I had this pre-order open for a week, and I got a few orders, and the turnaround time for it is going to be about 4 weeks. So that was May 4th, and then a week from that, as I closed it on the 11th. So 4 weeks from the 11th. So that should be like June, something like June 10th or something. But I'm in the order fulfillment process already. I've kind of gotten everything knocked out, which feels good. But once those are done, I will have an in-stock update of leftovers. So if you didn't find me till after, or maybe you couldn't swing it at the time, I will be having leftovers of the mini skeins, a few, literally a few of the full skeins, of yarn, and then I might have a Death Star or two, and then I'll have stitch markers as well. So I will announce that. Stay tuned for that. But that's kind of it. The Death Star mold turned out so good. I love it. I'm sorry not to, but I love it. Um, so I haven't really been watching anything, um, but reading wise, I finished Friends, Lovers, The Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry. I think I was still listening to it on the last pod, but I finished it, and yeah, it was a good listen, good read. I feel bad because he ended it on a note of hope that he might finally overcome one of his biggest struggles, and then life happens as it does. So, um, it was very insightful into the process of Hollywood, so that's cool. Um, I finished The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I was listening to that on Spotify. I couldn't stop. It was so good. And what's funny is I was listening to it while I was dyeing yarn, which was a new thing for me, and I just loved it. Um, Really, really good book. I can see the hype, and it's not for anything like, I don't know, it was more good insight into Hollywood and the things that the women had to do in the 50s and so on. It's just kind of interesting. Um, and then most recently, I finished The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle Jensen, and I've already picked up the second book in that series. I haven't started reading it, but I've got it. Um, I didn't want to put this one down either because I was like, what's going to happen? What is she going to do? It's, it's a good read. It's I wouldn't even, it's kind of fantasy, but not really. I don't know how I would categorize this book. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't know. It was good, and I don't want to try and give you a synopsis and spoil it. Sorry. Um, but currently I'm reading Whispers of the Deep by Emma Ham, which is part of our Make Along Stitches and Stories. And the reason I picked up Bridge Kingdom was because I didn't want to stop reading Whispers of the Deep. And because we read it in sections and then talk about it, I didn't want to go past that. So I started reading Bridge Kingdom, and then I couldn't put that down. Funny. Um, but I'm listening to Level Up by Rob Dial, which is kind of I guess a self-help book to like get out of your own way and the things that you need to do. And um, that's been really interesting because obviously, like, we all have this fear of failure, but what I didn't realize is that there's also a fear of success. And there's just a lot of things to it. If you're into self-help books, it might be interesting for you, but um, I have to take that in doses just because obviously, like with self-help, you're doing reflecting and analyzing and trying to figure out different parts of yourself that you might need to fix. So, might be reading that one for a little or listening to that one for a little bit. Um, and then the other one I'm listening to is A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle Jensen. And this is really interesting. I don't know how far I am because I'm listening to it on Spotify, but this one is about like Valkyries and, for lack of a better word, demigods. Um, I will say I don't care for who they have reading it. I apologize to this individual, but I'm really picky when it comes to who I'm listening to. Um, and I don't know, I'm just not a fan of this this person's reading, which is nothing on her. It just I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It hits my ear wrong and it's kind of distracting me from the story, if that makes sense, because there is in fact an accent. And when the narrator has an accent and then there's like accented words because of like where we are, we're in like Viking worlds and Valhalla and things like that. They don't go together. But that's just me. Um so that's pretty much it. Yeah. I'm so happy to be recording again. I haven't been recording. We'll do like a minor little life update here. I haven't been recording because my son went on spring break and then I've just been getting back to back sick. Um, gosh, since last like December, the end of December is when that kind of all started, and then I was sick like all of January and half of February. And then in March, it was like 1 week I was sick, 1 week I wasn't, 1 week I was sick. And it's that kind of the pattern right now. You caught me on a week where I might not be sick, but allergies are hitting. So, yeah. Um, thank you so much for watching. And I hope that you have a fantastic week. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.